you know, Assyria is always associated with northern kingdom. Now let's go over to John 10. John, Yahuah, the 10th chapter, starting at the first verse. And we'll go down to about the 15th. No, let's go down to 16.
Yahuah on John 10 verse 1. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that entereth not by the door into the sheepfold, but climbeth up some other way, the same is a thief and a robber. But he that entereth in by the door is the shepherd of the sheep. To him the porter openeth, and the sheep hear his voice. And he calleth his own sheep by name, and leadeth them out. And when he putteth forth his own sheep, he goeth before them, and the sheep follow him, for they know his voice. And a stranger will they not follow, but will flee from him, for they know not the voice of strangers. This parable spake Yahusha Mashiyach unto them, but they understood not what things they were which he spoke unto them. Then said Yahusha Mashiyach unto them again, Verily, verily, I say unto you, I am the door of the sheep.
Who's the door?
Yahusha.
Okay.
All that ever came before me are thieves and robbers, but the sheep did not hear them. I am the door. By me, if any man entereth in, he shall be saved, and shall go in and out, and find pasture. The thief cometh not, but for to steal, and to kill, and to destroy. I am come that they might have life, and that they may have it more abundantly. I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd giveth his life for the sheep.
He said, I am the what?
Good shepherd.
Good shepherd. And the good shepherd does what?
Gives his life.
Gives his life for the sheep. Mashiyach Yahusha is a good shepherd. He gives his life for the sheep. Just from that verse, that one verse alone, it should give you an understanding of what's going on in the book. So let's see who these sheep are.
Yahuah on John 10 verse 12. But he that is an harlot, and not the shepherd, whose own the sheep are not, seeth the wolf coming, and leaveth the sheep, and fleeth, and the wolf catcheth them, and scattereth the sheep. The hireling fleeth, because he is an hireling, and careth not for the sheep. And I am the good shepherd, and know my sheep, and am known of mine. As the Father knoweth me, even so am I the Father. And I lay down my life for the sheep. And other sheep I have, which are not of this fold. Them also I must bring, and they shall hear my voice, and there shall be one fold and one shepherd.
Stop right there. He said, other sheep I have. What about them?
They're not of this fold.
They're not of this fold. When he said not of this fold, what is that pertaining to?
The house of Judah.
The house of Judah. Because all the tabernacle is from what? Were they not from our southern kingdom? Okay, so other sheep I have, they're not of this fold, but what he said, them also I must bring. So if he said, them also I must bring, that means he has to go and what?
Save them too. Bring them back into the sheepfold.
Right, in order to bring them back into the sheepfold, he has to do what?
Same thing.
You have to go and gather, don't you? he has to go gather these other sheep that are here, but they're not in the fold. But what happened when he gathered the sheep? He said, they shall what? Hear my voice, and there shall be one fold and one shepherd. Now, name one time when you've ever read in the Hebrew Scriptures that the Most High has ever referred to anybody outside of Israel as sheep. You will never, ever, 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 ever find that in the Hebrew Scriptures. This book is very specific. Israel, or the children of Israel, are his sheep. Point blank, period. Nobody else. And this is why we have to go read stuff like this. It is really simple. But because people have been taught so much madness, they take offense when you personalize a book written about a people and their husband. If I have a memoir, if I've written something in memory or dedicated to my wife, why would anybody else get offended because they're not mentioned? When I'm talking about the memories I share of our first meeting, the memory I share of our courtship, and how that led to a betrothal and marriage, and then we had children. And I'm just recording our history. Now all of a sudden somebody's reading it and they're offended because I didn't write about them in the book. What kind of sense does that make? I didn't share anything with you. I don't have a history with you. I don't have any memories with you. You might get mentioned if I encountered you and something happened when I encountered you or something. But outside of that, the book is about me and the woman that I love. That's why the other nations are not mentioned. And the only reason I tell people, they get offended, I said the only reason you hear about Greeks, Romans, and all these people in the book is because Israel encountered them. And because of their wickedness, they went into captivity. The Most High allowed them to be overtaken by these people. That's the only reason they're recorded in this book. The only reason.
That's good.
This book is very personalized. That's why I like the 23rd Psalm for King Dawood, when he talks about that's how all of Israel needs to be. When you read the 23rd Psalm, it's strictly about Dawood and the Father. He said, Yahuah is my shepherd. I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He restores my soul. He leadeth me. Y'all see how he's talking? That's how we should be talking. When it comes to the book called, they want to call, quote unquote, the Bible or the Hebrew Scriptures, this is how we're supposed to approach it and take it, because it's written to us. And this is why we have to do these type lessons, because when you get over to the good news, over what commonly known as the New Testament, people have gone awry. They have no understanding of what they're reading. And just as soon as I get through Isaiah 53, we're going to go tackle the good news. We're going to deal with the Messianic teachings. We're going to deal with the New Testament. But you know what we're going to do? We're going to read them and we're going to walk them back to Torah. That way people can get the correct understanding. He did not die for anybody but Israel. If death was required for the first covenant, bloodshed, if we broke that covenant in order for it to be renewed, Guess what's going to be required?
Yeah.
Death. Blood ratification again. The same people then, the same people at that time. This has nothing to do with the nations. And I keep telling people, let me tell y'all something. You need the nations. You have no business sweeping and mopping as kings and queens. You need the nations. You have no business digging and hoarding gardens and growing. No, you need the nations. Let me tell you how it works. Get Isaiah, the 14th chapter for me. Did Israel come out of Mizraim as a mixed multitude? They had other nations with them, didn't they? Did not those nations sojourn with Israel over 40 years in the wilderness? They sure did. And y'all remember that lesson I did on the strangers? The Most High spoke some when he spoke to Joshua before they entered into that land. I told y'all about the strangers, right? And I said that was one stranger that had a very favorable standing in the Most High eyes. That was the Gerr. 16:16 in Hebrew. What did the Most High tell Joshua before they entered into Canaan land? He said, the stranger that sojourned with you, he said, take them and possess them for handmaids and servants in the land. Do y'all know what stranger that was? It was the girl. So if that stranger has a favorable standing and he's going to be servants, handmaid servant, what do you think the other one stand? That's their salvation. I know people don't want to hear this. It's better than what you could have. And we have to stop shoving and jiving with this book, scared to tell the truth. We don't understand what's in here. But anyway, read that 14. We're going to see the same thing. Because what happens now? Because the book, the book has to line up, y'all. It can't be one thing on here and something else told on the other side.
That's right. That's right. But Maury, what would be the good news to a nation that's already ruling?
I know. It's not the good news to a nation that's already ruling. The good news is for the people who were in need of hearing something that were going to uplift them.
That's right.
Of people that were oppressed, suppressed, depressed. It was good news for them. And I keep telling y'all, when you're looking at what's going on in Jerusalem, I said, you know the Romans are ruling, they have occupied Jerusalem. It would have been impossible for Mashiyach, Yahuah, and anybody else to go up in that land with the Romans ruling, talking about their kingdom and him being a king. He would have never been able to finish his work because they were already trying to kill him. Did not they walk Mashiyach to a cliff, getting ready to push him off, and he had to disappear? It was just that dangerous for them. But see, they done gave y'all a picture of Mashiyach them with this Jesus mess. They done gave y'all this. It wasn't that easy up in Jerusalem, y'all. That's why when you're even going back to the book of Galatians, it's so important to know what's going on in Galatians, in the book of Galatians. You got Jews, and I'm going to get back to that. You got the Yahudim, the Pharisees, who have made what? A pact with the Romans. Yeah. Do you not know in Jerusalem, if you were outside of those that were in that pact, you could not sell and you could not have any kind of service pertaining to your culture. That's what's going on in Jerusalem. Now, you got Northern Kingdom coming in. Now these people are trying to what? Hear the Basora, the good news. Now they're trying to return. But guess what the only problem is? they're outside of that pact made with the Romans. And they had put out a decree, if you were caught doing those things, you were put to death.
Right.
And we're going to get into a little history on that, and we're going to cover the whole thing. We're going to do some reading historically from writings and get a thorough understanding of what the law is in Jerusalem at that time, and what that pact is, what it's called, and why it's so important for Galatians. You're going to see. Because these people running up in there, they were trying to keep them getting put to death. Because what do you see? Do you think the Pharisees or the Yahudim, they were accepting them with open arms?
No. That's right. Because remember, they said that we have to quiet down this insurrection here.
Yes.
Because if not, we will lose our place.
We will lose our what?
We will lose our
Place with who?
Yeah, with the Romans.
With the Romans.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on here. That's why I say historically, we have to be abreast upon this information so you can thoroughly understand what's going on. Yeshayahu 14.
Yeshayahu or Isaiah 14 verse 1. For Yahuah will have mercy on Jacob or Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob.
What strange is that?
Girl.
16:16, girl. That's that one that has a favorable position in the Most High, right? It was the Most High said, treat them like one what? Born in the land? Okay, keep reading.
Verse 2. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Yashra'al shall possess them in the land of Yahuah for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors.
Stop right there. Is that not the same thing happening again? Because you know this is where he's gathered Israel. Israel is now fixing to enter back into a covenant. Israel going back to their land. But the strangers, read that again, that first verse. Because now these same strangers, they have done what? They have latched hold. And they're going to sojourn again with you. Let me tell you something. Me and Morris say that all the time. There's nothing new under the sun. Mm-hmm. If it happened one way here, it has to happen the same way here. The Most High is not all over the place.
Yeah. No. I think it goes with the mindset is that Yahuah has, is that this is the way it's supposed to be because this is what I called it to be. You guys done switch this thing up and change it to the point to where now they're considered the same as we are. But I have said, Yahuah, this is the way it's supposed to be.
Exactly.
And so at the end of the day, this is how it's going to be, whether you like it or not.
And I always forget that scripture. He said he got to make everything right side up again.
Right.
Because it has been flipped.
Right. So the guy that blows me away that I'm reading it because he said this is how it's supposed to be from the beginning. You messed it up. I'm going to change it back. You see? It don't have nothing to do with you guys. It ain't against you guys in any kind of way. This is how it's going to be. Okay?
Exactly.
This is the best position you can have. Take it or leave it. Exactly.
And that bothers me so much. I'm like, I might be crazy. These people have done so. I'm talking about all the nations. See, and that's what I explained to somebody. I said, this woman talking about giving $100 billion in reparations to us as a people. I said, that's not even a drop in a bucket. And I said, well, we get caught up at, we'll look at it and think that's something. You know why the Most High can't go with that? Because it was not just one group of people that did this dirt to you. He's getting it from all nations, not one. That's why he has to get it. Because he's going to get it from all of them.
If you look at the cost throughout the last 400 years or whatever, well, first of all, the land in Jerusalem. I mean, the land in all of Palestine. But that land was the promised land here in America. See, just the land alone. And then what's produced
Right.
throughout all the years. Now what you did to the 100 and something million slaves that you brought over here, and the 100 and something million Native Americans that you killed, you see, look at that. We haven't even talked about the blood that's being required.
Exactly.
You see?
And
We
another
talk
thing
about
to
money.
do too is, cause people have a bad, misunderstanding when it comes to these Native Americans. And I've always kind of had an issue with it because we want to look at a people and want to identify them with being Israel because we don't understand history.
Mhm.
Before the so-called, what we look at as Native Americans, Israel was already here.
Right.
And it wasn't those people that you're looking at, those are Mongols there.
That's good. Exactly.
And that's why when they took Israel that was already here,
Mhm.
but see, what you have to realize, our people were actually taken from America back to Spain and throughout Europe, and then to the continent of Africa. Now, some were already there in Africa, but there was a remnant of our people that had already came here. And so, when you go to the Library of Congress, and you start talking about the Aborigines, who we want to call Indians, the Negro Indians, straight black, North America, South America, Central America, Negro. Now, when you see the Mongols who comes across the Bering Strait, because I know a lot of people don't believe in that theory or the Bering Strait that they traveled, they did, but there were people here when they got here. These were the people that they began to kill off and stuff and take back to Europe and Spain. Then took some back to Africa. And this was before the triangular trade began. And so that's why we need to look into that history too, because there's a group of our people who credit in history has been given to Native Americans.
Right.
Y'all talking about Attila the Hun people. And see, that's another history that people don't talk about, how the Huns and different ones made it over here. And if you look at the so-called people that reside in our land today, their lineage even goes back to the Huns. And so that history is very important. But if you notice in Isaiah 14, it carries the same theme of when we came out of Mizraim, the strangers that were with them, even though they had a favorable position in the Most High, they still went into that land as servants, slaves. It's the same thing this time. And my thought was, I know what I was getting before I went on terrorism. These people have done so much wickedness and have done so much dirt. You got to know people's minds are messed up to where out of all that they've done, they actually believe they can go into the kingdom or what they would call heaven and walk hand in hand like ain't nothing happened.
Yeah.
No kind of retribution, no kind of payback, or no kind of reaping of any sort.
It's good that you say that, Maury, because the guy out there in Virginia, they found him in his, I think it's his college yearbook. He was dressed in blackface, and I guess a couple of his friends was dressed up as Ku Klux Klansmen and all this other stuff. The government, he was government, right, exactly.
Yeah.
This is important. They said now that 58%, a little over 58% of the black churches in Virginia has forgiven this guy.
As well.
They forgave him.
That's ridiculous.
There's a brother that is teaching, do not to mention his name, is that Antiochus Epiphanes, right on his deathbed, okay, said, listen, you know what, you guys are the real Israelites, right before he died. And so everything should be good. So you know that whole concept. You can do all the hell that you want to do. All right, and then on your deathbed, all right, you can ask for forgiveness, and then you and I, okay, can walk hand in hand. There's no, there's no restitutions or payback of anything. I mean, this thing of forgiveness, and Jesus said in the Bible that we have to forgive. And so that mindset again, that our people are willing, okay, just to forgive, let bygones be bygones. But we had to pay. We had to pay. So yeah, just wow. I think they call it was like Stockholm syndrome.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it's terrible. If the enemy can't go, I don't want to go to the kingdom.
Yeah.
And that dude's nickname back in school was Cool Man. Like he was so, that's what he did. Like that was his thing. He was known for dressing up in blackface and that type of thing. Like his nickname was Cool Man. Like that's what they called him.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm saying he didn't do it.
Yeah, so and that's what we're dealing with. Let me tell you something. You might call yourself forgiven, but the Most High don't forget. So he's gonna get. He said, "Shall they give you recompense?" He's gonna get his. I don't know why people. He done told you that though you walk hand in hand with the wicked, he said the wicked shall not go unpunished. He don't care how much you love them. Because you know, Israel, we become life preserve and bulletproof vests and everything for people.
Yeah, we do.
We'll just jump right on out there. I mean, and see how they treat you. Isaiah 29:16.
Yahuah, Isaiah 29, verse 16. Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. For shall the work say of him that made it, he made me not? Or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, he had no understanding?
Okay, so you can see what's going on here. Let's jump to Yahuah 5:36 right quick.
Yahuah 5 verse 36. But I have greater witness than that of Yahuah, for the works which the Father hath given me to finish, the same works that I do bear witness of me, that Yahuah hath sent me.
You see what he said, for the works which the Father has given me to finish, the same work that I do, bear witness of me that the Father has sent me. So he came to bring the Israel back into covenant relationship. And before Israel can go into covenant relationship, the two houses have to be what? Reunited or joined back together.
One stick.
And made one stick. So we know the precepts of John is Ezekiel 37. And we're not going to go there because all of us are familiar with Ezekiel 37. If you're not, those out viewing us by way of social media, we read John the 10th chapter earlier, and the precepts of that about making the two folds one fold and he being their shepherd is Ezekiel the 37th chapter. Talks about the two sticks or the two houses being made one again. And when we look at that, we have to see why that is important. Let's look at Luke, the first chapter, verse 31, 32, and 33.
Luke 1 verse 31. And behold, thou shalt conceive in thy womb, and bring forth a son, and shall call his name Yahusha. He shall be great, and he shall be called the Son of the Highest.